Oh my god, so holy shit, I just had the creepiest fucking dream. Like, I don't usually, it wasn't really a nightmare, it was just creepy. There's a difference. But like, I don't have nightmares. Like, I can manipulate my dreams to the point where it's like, I have lucid dreaming, or whatever it's called. Or I can manipulate it, and it's like, it doesn't really bother me. But this one was just creepy as fuck, because what happened was, it felt like it was from like an alternate universe where instead of my mother dying, Dale T had died. And I sort of found Dale T laying there because he's kind of laying on the steps, like going upstairs, like at the bottom, he kind of like hunched over. And I realized he was dead, but I didn't really want to say anything because it was like, I was kind of like trying to get my mother to, like, gee, where's Dale T? Have you seen him? You know, kind of one of those things. And I wanted her to find him. And I was trying to like say, why don't you go out there and check? Well, eventually, it wasn't like that long had gone by, like maybe 20 minutes had gone by. 20 minutes to 45 minutes from when I found him. And I finally got her to go out into the hallway. And as I'm looking, I realized that the hallway door is gone. And that there were certain changes to the house that happened in this reality. And throughout the whole ordeal, I'm basically having this conversation with my mother. And she's doing something. She kept doing something with my iPad. And it was like a remote to it. And like every time I would come through, she'd like turn it off. Like she didn't want me to see what it was on it. Or there was something to do. Like she was trying to tell me there was something on it that I should go look. Or something. It was something like every time. And I would just, I don't know, it was that part was weird, but eventually she found Dale T and she's like, oh my god, your father's dead. And it was this weird kind of like, what are we gonna do now? Right? And it wasn't like, a wife finding her husband or a spouse finding, now obviously my parents had a fucked up, thing going on, but there would be at least a little bit of remorse. This was more like, oh, well, he's dead. What are we going to do? And I started to explain to her that it's like everyone's dead. And I realized, because what happened was I wanted to go cover up Dale T. Like get a blanket put over him just because it is what it is. Now keep in mind it's nighttime, it's kind of dark out. The sense of being alone was like huge, like foreboding. And as I went to grab a blanket, which is a blanket that I use a lot, that's on my bed, I had just washed it, and I grabbed it and I was going to, because it's the only thing I had available. As I was coming through, I see the woman goes through and she's like, oh, I just covered up your father, save that blanket. I'm like, oh yeah, I don't want to waste this blanket. I don't want to ruin this blanket. Obviously you get it wrapped up in a dead corpse. Obviously you're not going to want to sleep on it ever again. So I'm like, okay, sure, I'll keep this. What was weird about the situation was the fact that she didn't actually wrap him up. I saw her go in with the blanket. She told me she did. And then later I got the feeling that he wasn't covered up. And then but I still didn't want to use my blanket, my blanket, the one that the one that I like. It's something that, in other words, there's got to be like an old sheet somewhere or an old newspaper or something, wrap it over on his fucking head or something. Well, anyways, the whole thing with the iPad came up, and it was something to do like it was running like Mario Run or something. Which I was like, okay, that's not a big deal. I could see her using my iPad to play Mario Run. I could see that. But it was something more like... There was something more to it. And I couldn't pinpoint it in the sense of I didn't want to think about it. But it kept reoccurring. And I come to find out later that I had a bunch of family member phone numbers put on my iPad. In other words, I should get my iPad and try to, call, find a number to call somebody. Which is like, okay, why should I do that if the woman's there and she's going to be handling most of that stuff? And then I realized the old woman's standing there talking to me, and I'm talking to her, and I realize I'm sitting here by myself. She is literally a delusion. And I'm talking to her as if she's a real person right here, right now. And it was basically just me and Dale T. Because what was interesting is there was no stepmother. Gene had moved out. He had taken the doors off. He had done all that stuff. So I don't know if Betsy had left. Things didn't work out. She passed away. I don't know what happened, but she wasn't in the picture. It was basically just he and I at the Taberg estate. And then he died, and I kind of was like, lost my fucking mind or something. It was conversing with my mother, who is dead, who's been dead for, almost 15 years, 12, 15 years. It was the weirdest fucking dream, but it was so cool, too, at the same time. Like that, there's that one scene in the house where he's talking with dead people, basically. It was just like that. And like I said, the old man and I having a conversation, and it felt real. It was like I wanted it to be real. Like, okay, she's here, he's gone. Okay, we can live, we can survive. And then as I'm sitting there, I'm telling her, like, no, it's not going to be okay. I'm all by myself, even though she's standing right there. And she kind of looks at me like, "What do you mean? I'm here." And I'm like, Gene's dead, my grandmother's dead, now my father's dead. And I paused a moment. I said, "Man, you're dead." It was the fucking weirdest fucking thing I've ever had a dream about. I don't know what it was. I mean, unless Dale T died or something. That'd be... Oh, dude, imagine that kind of psychic shit where Dale T, like just passed, like, he died right now, and I had a dream about this. Oh, that would be epic. I almost kind of hope he did, in a way, because that would be so fucking epic. Not that I'm wishing him ill or nothing, but damn, that would be cool. Kind of freaky, dude. Oh, shit, dude, man, that would be freaky. That would be absolutely freaky if he actually did. I don't know, part of me is like, yeah, I kind of hope he did. Another part is like, no, I hope not. But, because we're discussing, like, what would you do if we all died? Like, what would you do if everybody died? I'm discussing this with my mother. I'm like, I don't know, I'd have to find somebody who's willing to, just, let me find a shady spot, and kind of maybe converse with me once in a blue moon, and, you put me on the back part of your property, just stick, set up a little shanty out there, and let me just sit out there with the dog, give me some electricity, and, that's all I need. As long as there's a little interaction, just, as long as I can get to the store and that kind of stuff, that's about all I need, It wasn't like I gotta move in, I gotta take over a room, nothing like that. So I was like, I'll just find somebody who can accommodate me in that sense. And she's like, oh, okay, I guess that could work, And then once I realized that in the end you're dead, and I'm discussing all this stuff, because I'm sitting in the living room, and Dale T's mere feet away, and because I remember that moment when she died. We came home from the hospital. Dude, oh my God, it was so weird. Everything was just numb. Now, you gotta understand my situation, having spina bifida and shit. Like, we were good Republicans. We didn't go on the dole, any of that kind of stuff. We didn't get government assistance, even though I definitely qualified for it. We didn't do any of that stuff. So we had my mother and my father who worked all the time, and my mother got sick. Actually, she got sick twice, and then she ended up getting really sick, and the cancer basically fucked her up, and then she had a blood clot as a result. So she died of cancer, but it was definitely, she actually died of a blood clot. And like that night we came home, I remember we were there with cousin Renee and Kevin, and Dale T's like, oh, something to eat. He wants me to go make him some food. Have me something to eat, Peter. Have me something to eat. Now, keep in mind, the old woman was bad with money. We didn't get any groceries. We had no food. So, I am just completely numb. Like if your soul was like inside your head, and you took a step back, and you filled like that couple feet that's in front of you, between you and your eyes, like you're looking out, if you filled that with like Novocaine, and it was like this numbing, like, just, I can't explain it. It was this weird ass feeling. And I'm trying to search the house, search the kitchen, and because you gotta understand, she went to the hospital early in the morning, and then around 9 o'clock-ish, she died at the hospital. And now it's still January, so it's probably around 5, 6 o'clock. Probably between 6 and 7. And we're now starting a new life where she's not there. And she's always been there. And it was this really, I don't know. But like I said, I had a different relationship because we did not do the dole. We were good Republican Christians and blah, blah, blah. So, I am almost, I'm like 27 years old, 28 years old. No, I'm 27 at the time. And I'm still living at home, yes. Because of the spina bifida and the whole thing, and just, and my mother was sick, and she had gotten sick, and then she'd gotten better, and she gotten sick. So, for the last 8 years, I was, trying to keep the house clean as much as I could. I could get around a lot better back then. I was doing the cooking and stuff like that, and she was just, it is what it is. And like everything I did with her. So if I went to the store, I went with her. If I went to the movies, because my father didn't want to go to the movies, so the only time I go to the movies was with her. Like, I haven't been to the movies since she died. That was 12 years ago. I've not been to actual theater for like 12 years. And it was just, it was a weird experience because, like right now, if Dale T died, I just need to find somebody to take me to the store twice a month. That's about it. And it can be arranged fairly, whatever. But, like back then, like if he had died, it would have been, I don't know if it would have been the same thing. Because it's like I said, my mother was kind of the one who did everything. So, like she could make one phone call. Like one time I got jury duty. She calls me up from work, and I'm at home. And she says, you had jury duty. And I'm like, okay, what's that mean? She said, don't worry about it, I'll handle it. Literally 25 minutes later, she calls back and says, don't worry, you don't have jury duty. Okay, no one else can do that. Nobody else could get on the horn and get that shit done. I don't know who she called. I don't know what she did. I don't know what she said. But she could get shit done. I say, I need a doctor. Boom. All right. See you Tuesday. Get ready. Be ready by Tuesday. Nobody else can do that. I don't know what it is, but she had this unique ability where she can get shit done. And nobody else does that. So it's like, I have a hard time doing stuff. Even now at 40, I have a hard time just doing basic shit. So, and I've been, like I said, I've been by myself for like 10 years. I haven't seen a doctor since 2009. So, whatever. But yeah, it was a weird ass fucking dream. I mean, you're basically conversing with your dead mother. You're alone with your dead father corpse, and you're conversing with your dead mother. That was just so fucking creepy. Like, it was like some sort of Halloween dream, and it was really fucking cool, man. Creepy but cool. So I want to tell you about that because, you know, it is what it is. Excuse me. But yeah, like I said, my mother and I had a weird relationship. Not like in a, you know, Nimrod sort of way, but it was just, she did everything, you know. Every time I wanted to go to the store, that's where, you know, because like my father would go to work, go in the bedroom, and just want to be left alone. He didn't want to interact with us. And it was always weird to me, but it's like, whatever. Because like a lot of the kids at school, they didn't have fathers at the house. Their fathers were like MIA and shit. Well, I had basically the same thing. Like, Dale T was not engaged. He was there, but just because you're there doesn't mean you're actually there. You know what I mean? Like, he was physically there, but just like emotionally, and like, hey son, let's go play catch in the fucking, you know, out back and, you know, shoot cans off the fence post or something. Yeah, there's none of that. It was like, watch westerns, leave me alone. Get out of here, making too much noise, watching TV. That's basically what, you know. And shit, he was doing that. He was doing that back when I was a kid. So it was like, my entire life was, okay, Dale T's watching westerns, leave me be. He's camped out on the couch. He's camped out in the bedroom. He's camped out somewhere in front of the TV. He was like, that's all he did his entire life, is go to work and watch TV. That was it. And he informed everybody, Papa's got to poop. Want to come watch me? You're like, no, Dale T, I don't want to watch you take a shit, you fucking moron. Whatever. So, like, if he had actually been the one to die, because that's how it was supposed to be. You realize Dale T was the one who was supposed to keel over first. Because Gene and the old woman, they had made plans. Like, literally, I remember that one time, it's Thanksgiving, and the two of them were kind of tee-hee and giggling about what they're going to do after Dale T dies. And Dale T's sitting there with turkey in his mouth, going, his little stash wiggling up and down. And they're like, yeah, we're gonna go on a cruise. You're gonna die, we're gonna go on a cruise, it's gonna be great. We're gonna buy those stupid little hats. It's gonna be wonderful. It's gonna be wonderful. We'll take Peter and the dog, we're gonna go on a cruise, go around the world. It's gonna be great. And Dale T is like, okay, wish I could be there. And it completely shit the bed, because the one who wasn't supposed to die is the one who did die. Which then set everything else into this chaotic fuckball that is my existence right now. And guess who's the only one left? Dale T. You know? Because, like, Gene was, I feel like Gene was 70 for, like, the last 40 years. Okay. So, like, she was the oldest. She was supposed to go first. Well, Dale T was supposed to go, and then probably her, and then my mother, and then me eventually at some point. Well, it completely went the opposite. I mean, it went my mother, and then Dale T became, you know, KIA. He was missing in action. And then Gene died, then Graham died, then Gene. And now it's like, I'm here all by myself, and Dale T's there, but he's like in limbo. Like, if somebody said to me right now he died, he'd be like, oh well. You know, because like, he's not part of my life anymore. He's there, but he's not, well, actually, just like it would be if he was sitting there watching TV and eating beans. Watching TV. Leave me alone while I'm watching TV. You know, like if he died, it would be no loss. You know what I'm saying? And now that I'm kind of on my own, doing my own thing, it's like, you know, I don't need him for work anymore. Like, he doesn't need to go to work and take care of the house. You know. So if he dies, it's like, Like, I don't know how I feel about that. Now, obviously, you know, my father's dead. Obviously, that's one thing. But as far as, like, needing him, like the old woman, we needed the old woman. And like I said, that first night when we came back, and Dad, I want something to eat, Mark, give me something to eat. And I go out there. The only thing that was out there were those stupid Lipton noodle packets. Those ones that come in the little packages, those little flat packages. You got to flat back and forth to get all the stuff out, and you add the hot water. And those were the old woman's. And it was just because the only food we had was stuff that was, meaningful to her. There was a box. There was an unopened box, and I think like 2 packages left. And I'm like, I don't know, Dad, you want soup? They ain't much. Soup and mini sandwiches. I find out to eat. I'll give you some bread with some mayonnaise on it, and one of these soup packets. That's literally all there is. That's literally all there is. And I don't remember what I made him. Literally, the cupboards were bare except for those fucking. And it was that moment because you open it up and you're numb and you don't know what's going on. There's a sink full of dishes. You look over there. There's the old woman's shoes, and you're like, "Oh Jesus, what the fuck?" And you open up the cupboard. There's her soups, and it's like, okay, those were hers. It's like it like hits you like a heat wave of fucking shit. It's like whoosh. It just hits you right in the face. Like, holy shit, that's hers, and she ain't here anymore. It was like with you. Like if your mother died, you're gonna be sad, but it's not. I don't know how to say it. It's not that it's not important, but it's not your end all be all. Like you've got a wife and you've got a family. So you specifically, if your mother dies, it's like, you know what I mean? In that sense, not like, oh gee, I need her to drive me somewhere because I can't physically drive because of my back and shit, or it's not like you do stuff with her every day and interact with her every day. Yeah, you might email or send a video of the kids and shit to her and whatnot, but you're not living there. You know what I'm saying? You're not like right there in the trenches watching her die of cancer, not once but twice, cooking food and shit for the family. You're not doing that. You're not there like right there. You know what I mean? So yeah, it'll be tragic when she goes, but it's not the same thing as actually needing and relying on this particular person for everything, which I did with mine. And I don't mean to like downplay that, but I want to make the distinction between like you've got a wife and kids and family and you're doing your own thing. You can go to the store if you want, whenever you want. You can do basic shit whenever you want. Where with me, it was like, if she ain't doing it, we ain't doing it. If she ain't doing it, I ain't doing it. Type of a deal. And then she's gone, and it's like everything was just shut off. Like just bloop, just shut the fuck off. There was nothing. It was less income. Not that she paid bills anyway, but Gene had to take over paying the bills, and it was like there was too many bills because the bills had backed up, and like we had paid off the fucking mortgage probably 5 times, but she kept remortgaging it to pay off other bills. And so we had like $70,000 mortgage left on the house, and she keeled over, and that was the end of it. Somebody had to pay that shit. Well, we didn't have money to pay that shit. Not like she was making a lot from the fucking church, but she was doing other stuff and, whatever. But, whatever. It's just fucking tragic. Anyways, back to what I was saying. This was a weird dream because, like, I was literally having a conversation with a delusion. And then when I pieced it together, and I'm like, you're dead. You're not here either. I don't know who the fuck I'm talking to, but again, I realized everything that was going on that she was doing, because she wasn't really doing anything, but she was kind of. It was basically a figment of my imagination showing me what I need to do. I need to go find that iPad because there's numbers to call the cousins of Dale T's kin. Like I need to call his sister stuff like that, and explain, oh gee, DLT's dead, I'm the only one here, please come and help, and because it's like, what do you do? Like you're stuck, because you can understand, I was stinted my entire life as far as just basic shit. Like most people had to grow up and do that stuff when they were younger. Yeah, I totally got that, but like me, I didn't have to, and it was not even an option. And it is what it is. But to actually then have to make a decision like, gee, I'm here by myself, there's a dead body in the fucking house, what do I do? Which also kind of harkens back to when Jean was here, when she died. I mean, she was there for 4 days. I didn't know it. I'm upstairs. I didn't know it. Luckily, when the cousins came by and was like, what the fuck? And she looked in the window and there's Jean laying on the ground. Like, holy shit. So she breaks in. Well, they didn't break in, but they knew where the key was. In fact, they put the key there, so they knew where the key was. So it was one of those things where it's like there's always been somebody to take care of that kind of stuff. And in this case, I'm literally by myself in this dream, and it was like, holy shit. So I conjured up this thing in my mother to like help me. Like, okay, what do I do? Take a deep breath. What do? You get on the horn. You find somebody who knows what they can do. First off, you got to let the family know that, their brother, uncle, whatever is dead. And then say, and please help, So it was, like I said, it was a weird fucking dream. And the idea that my mother was sort of giving me clues as to what to do, even though it was in my own mind, very fucking weird. It's very cool, but very weird at the same time. So anyways, yeah, I want to throw that out to you. It's like a Halloween dream. It was like this weird, spooky dream, and it was kind of... but because it felt, honest to God, it felt like an alternate universe. Where it was like... Because at first, it was like, okay, there's the old woman, she's still alive, everything's good, I'm conversing with her, things are fine, and the LT died. Now, because I had a dream like that once. And I think what the dream was very similar to this, but I didn't register that she had also died as well, or at least I didn't want to acknowledge it. So like in this one, because it was sort of a reoccurring dream, after she died, I had reoccurring dreams. Like I remember this one dream where I was like literally sobbing, and I think I may have actually been sobbing like in my sleep, because I woke up and like my pillow was like all wet, and it wasn't like slobber, it was more like tears, kind of, I don't know, it was weird. Like I vaguely remember hearing myself sobbing one time when I was sleeping, so I don't know. Because like I didn't cry when she died, and it was, I don't know how I feel about that. I just couldn't bring myself to do that. Because like, I don't know, whatever. But I kept having this, well not this, but I kept having numerous recurring dreams where she was alive and Dale T wasn't. And I'm starting to wonder if they weren't all part of the same dream. Or it's like, okay, now I just finally figured it out. I just finally got it that she wasn't there either in the dream. It felt like she was, but it was my mental understanding of her that was trying to help me process the situation. So I'm talking to a delusion, basically. Literally talking to a ghost. So I don't know, it was just weird. Like I said, I do have recurring dreams. So I have, like, one of the recurring dreams is that my mother would do stuff in real life. And this happened in the dream, and she would just do stuff to like push my buttons to just get me so pissed off, and then bitch at me for getting pissed off. Like she would purposely do stuff that she knew was going to upset me, just so she could yell at me. Now, it was slightly mentally abusive. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the shit she did, she was verbally abusive. I'm not gonna lie. She was verbally and slightly mentally abusive. Like there was that one time, we always made lasagna in a roaster. That's how we did it. We got the roaster because we wanted it really thick, like really deep. And you got those little thin trays that they do in the little cubes, and it's just no. We wanted it like super thick. We're talking like 5 layers, 6 layers thick. Okay. Now, if you know anything about a roaster, it's oblong. It's an oval shape. So what you do, you lay the noodles. You put the sauce in. You put a little bit of sauce on the bottom. You lay noodles lengthwise, in the middle, and you've got those 2 little oval ends on the ends. Well, you build it up like you normally would, and then whatever you have left over, whatever noodles, you shove down in there into the sides. You add your cheese, and you put whatever extra stuff down in there. And what happens is when it cooks, it all melds together into this big chunk of shit. It's really good. And you don't even notice that it's basically a normal lasagna with a bunch of stuff stuffed in the side, because like I said, it all kind of melds together. And it's just how we always did it. Well, I remember one time she wanted me to go cook the lasagna, and as I'm doing it, I'm layering it, and I'm doing it with the roaster. And my guy is sitting on the counter. She comes out with a load of laundry. She comes out with a handful of laundry, and she starts screaming, "Why are you putting it in the roaster? Only your father likes it in the roaster, blah, blah, blah." She was pissed off at my father, so she took it out on me on something we had done every single solitary time we cooked the fucking thing. In fact, we had just cooked it not that long ago in the freaking roaster. So all of a sudden it was like, okay, what you're doing, and that you've done all the time, and that I personally taught you how to do and told you what to do and how to do it, yeah, it's wrong for this moment because I just want to bitch about something. So that was kind of the weird, fucked up shit she would do to me. That was just a small example. And like I said, she would push my buttons to the point where, and in the dream, reoccurring dreams, I got so pissed off that I basically yelled at her and said, "I'm glad you're dead." And she didn't bat an eye, so I'm starting to wonder if it wasn't part of the same reoccurring dream, where it's like she was just an illusion. Because it wasn't, I don't know, it was weird now that I think about it. Because like I said, it's basically the same fucking dream. I keep having the same freaking dream over and over, and it's identical. It's not like I'm doing something different this time or something different that time. There might be a few odd changes, but not to the point of where it's any different. So I don't know. Because I've had dreams before where I could actually dream something, and even like the next night, continue the dream. And that went on for like a week. 5 days to a week one time. Where it's like every time I slept, I was continuing this dream. And it was a weird end times prophecy kind of dream where it's like, the world's coming to an end. It was like Armageddon kind of a dream, and you're on the run kind of a deal. It was one of those things. It was just, I wish I'd written it down, because it would have made a really awesome sci-fi story. I mean, it would have been like The Stand or something. It would have been great. But, yeah, I don't know. I have weird dreams, and I don't know what. I'm not anything special, so it's like when I say that I can manipulate my dreams, it's weird because who gives a fuck, But yet I can do that because if I'm sleeping and I'm aware that I'm in the dream, I can think of how to manipulate things in the dream. Like say the right thing or do the right thing, and it's odd. It's very strange. It's like, because I can do that in real life too. It's like if I think about something in the moment quickly, I can come up with a response that makes people feel sorry for me. That basically I get what I want, essentially. Like if I'm looking for something to happen, I usually can do that, and I take that into my dream. It's weird. So it's like, it almost feels like this right here, right now, real life is a dream sometimes. Which it probably is, on some level. But But you can definitely tell a dream from reality, because, well, for example, in the dream, it's gonna sound weird, but I took like a deep breath. Like I breathed in deep, because it's like, okay, there's a dead body. Does it stink? And I'm like, and I remember doing that in the dream, thinking, no, I don't smell anything. You know, it's not like he's not ripe yet. We still got time, but I still want to cover him up with the towel. And it was just, it's little things like that where it's like, I realized that it wasn't real by doing that, because it's like, I don't know, I can't explain it. I overthink it is what happens. Even when I'm dreaming, I overthink shit. So, anyways, I wanted to share that with you, because, you know, thought you'd enjoy that. And for anybody who's like, cause I'm thinking I'm going to post this to YouTube, so I'm basically sending it to a certain particular person, but I'm also going to put it on YouTube for anybody to listen to. So, you know. Anyways, whatever. That's it. Fuck you.